Thank you. Again, my name is Heather Miller, and somewhere on this video is Jessica Winston. She's helping us out. Apparently you're in Toy Story Land today, girl.
I am.
Yes, so today we are going from YAG to YAY. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of things just to kind of get us started. Thank you again for coming and joining us here online. It's going to be lots of fun. So today we'll learn how to take your year at a glance, all those activities or resources that you have to create activities in Seesaw. And so just a couple of things. We are going to use the chat to ask questions, but if at any time we pause for questions, please feel free to just unmute yourself and ask. We understand sometimes it's just easier to just say it out loud rather than type it out. So there is that chat box in case you have a question, like while we're going through the lessons and stuff like that. You can type at any time, but we will kind of pause every now and then to make sure that all your questions are answered. So I see a lot of friendly names on here. So I'm excited. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a poll to your screen. And this is really just to see what grade you teach. And if you are someone who works with multiple grade levels, just pick one. Pick your favorite, maybe. The difference with this webinar is that we do not have a set plan for what we're showing you today. It's really just taking whichever grade level is here, in, I guess, whichever grade level has the most people, I guess I should say. We are taking that YAG, that year at a glance for that grade level, and making a lesson from scratch. So we want to show you guys how to go from A to Z live and in action, and not just show you things we've already created. So, oh wow, it looks like we have a lot of younger grades here too. Cool. So man, Kinder wins out. That's 4 people are here in Kinder. So we will be creating a Kinder lesson today. Now, everything we're showing you is going to help you create your own lessons. We just want to show you how, okay, here are all the resources we have in the YAG and taking it to the activity. So I'm going to end that polling for just a minute, and I'm going to launch another poll about which subject. So you're going to see the one that says which number, and we'll get to that in just a second. But if you will just click on the one that says which subject that you would prefer, and it doesn't matter if you're not teaching Kinder, this is for anybody. Which subject would you prefer? So there's math, science, social studies, and ELAR. The second question we're not answering quite yet, so just answer the first one, and I'm going to pull up the YAG. Okay, we're just going to go with it. So ELAR has won out on this one. Oh wait, no. Oh my goodness. I ended the results and somehow all of your votes came in. So actually it's a tie between ELAR and math. So I am going to submit it again, and I want you to choose between math and ELAR. Okay, ready, go. Okay. ELAR won 6-5. Goodness gracious, that was close. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on ELAR for kindergarten. Ready? Okay, so now this is where the numbers are going to come in to play. Come on, distance learning. Okay. So we're not going to look at this week because most likely you guys all have your lessons for this week. So we're going to look at April 6th. And so when we look at April 6th, we have lesson 1, 2, and 3. So that's where the lessons are going to come in. So I'm going to relaunch it. And I want you to choose lesson 1, 2, or 3. So phonics, word study, or comprehension. Relaunching now. So for the first question, just pick a subject and then answer 1, 2, or 3 at the bottom. All right, so number 3 won out pretty clearly, landslide here. So we are going to go with comprehension. Here we go. All right, so this one, it looks like there's actually already a sample activity here. I think, I'm just gonna see what it is. Oh, baby animals. Okay. But we're just gonna look at what these are and kind of start, we're gonna pretend like none of that is up there and start from scratch. So this is a Scholastic link, it looks like. We'll let that pull up.
Yeah, they have created the lessons for us. They're just not really kinder friendly.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know. Well, we're going to start from
It's like a
scratch.
KWL chart, which is, at least in my experience, not really kinder
Yes,
friendly. At least not without the teacher guiding it.
right. Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so this one is Scholastic Life Cycles Animal Babies, it looks like. So I'm thinking this is just taking us to books for them to read. Oh, yeah. Okay, book flicks. But I don't really understand. That's just comparing animals. Okay, they're animal babies. I was like, what? Okay, so let's see what else they're trying to. So we got our animal baby book. We got baby animals PDF. I'm assuming that's a book they can read out loud. This is a puppy. This is a kitten. Okay. Yeah, I think kinder babies definitely need more action. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to understand these lessons here. All right.
Heather,
Yes, ask away, whoever is that.
it's Michelle.
Oh, hey, Michelle.
Go up to the top where it says Seesaw activity.
Yep.
Okay, if you click on that, they've embedded all of the Scholastic stories that you just showed with the activity the other lady was talking about with the KWL chart.
Okay.
And then there's sometimes a second page, but it doesn't look like they have one for that one.
Yeah, that one looks like.
That's how they've concised it. That's how they've kind of embedded like all of what you just clicked on into that kind of thing.
Okay, so Michelle, in your opinion, when you guys are learning about baby animals, then what is something that, like on here, like your TEKs are interact with sources that are meaningful, and
I changed it. I changed the one for this next week. We're a week behind, so we're doing the plants.
Oh, okay.
We're doing the plants stories for next week on the comprehension. So I changed the KWL because I figured my kids have been doing it for 2 weeks, and I changed it to like a sequencing story to where they have to put it in a sequence. Like, what do you do first for a plant? You plant the seed. Right. So I changed the activity itself.
So what is because these just look like it's like
I think it needs to be something more with, because the KWL chart goes a little bit more with science and social studies type stuff.
Right. So for baby animals, it's really just, it looks like what they know about baby animals, and so they're pretty much like reading through these books right here, like Animal Babies, right? Then they're going to reflect on that, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go, I'm going to close this one out so that's not confusing. Okay, so I'm going to just open up Seesaw here. And this is one reason why we created this class, because we understand like the YAG sometimes has so many resources. It is hard to picture it and I guess imagine it as a Seesaw activity. So, all right, so I'm going to go to my Seesaw activity library. I'm going to click on create a new activity, and I'm going to start with the activity name. So for this lesson, it is all about those animal babies. So I'm going to label animal babies, but it's for the comprehension or the reading unit. So what I would suggest is, because the activity feed in Seesaw is a little bit overwhelming sometimes, I would use an emoji to help decipher between the activities. So you can hold down the Windows icon that's under the letter Z and press the semicolon or the period, and it'll pull up an emoji keyboard. So like for reading, you could do books, and then you can either click on it or you can press enter and it'll come up on there, or you can even type a word. So like, let's say I wanted to do a dog, because we're talking about, just thinking, I'm still typing there. Can't find one. So if you type, there it goes. If you type a word, you can also have it come up on there as well. But I would just use the same emoji every single time. So every time they see books, they know that it's their reading activity. Every time they see numbers, it's their math activity. Maybe every time they see a sun or something, it's science, whatever that may be. Okay, so in order to get that emoji keyboard, if you look on your keyboard on your computer, you're going to hold down the Windows icon, which is under the letter Z. You're going to press that at the same time you press the semicolon, or you can even, I think some people even press the period. Yeah, the period or the semicolon will work, and then it'll pull up that emoji keyboard. All right, so I'm going to type in here animal babies. And in my head, the way that I like to do things, I skip the instructions first, because I like to figure out what I'm going to put as my multimedia example and template first, and then I go back. So for the multimedia example, I'm going to go ahead and use this Bookflix that it looks like it's a great way for them to read a story. And what I like to notice is, like, if I click watch the story or I click read the book, it's taking me the URL up here doesn't change. So even if I click read the book and it's showing me this, if they go to this URL, it's going to be that very first page where they actually have to choose the side. So I'm going to copy it when it's on this page, but it might just take them to the one that says read the book. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do Control-C and copy that link. All right, and then over here, I'm going to click on link, and I'm going to paste it in. There it goes. And a lot of times you can even add a caption underneath. So if I was adding, let's say, this book right here, but then I had it to where I could read it, you can always add the link in the caption, so that way you can click on the link or view the PDF. But for right now, we're just using that link, so that works for us. And then I'm going to think about what template that I want them to do with these animal babies. So looking at here, they look like they're completing a sentence. So I don't know, that's kind of confusing to me, because they're supposed to put the T there, but this is a lowercase t. So I'm probably not going to use that one. But this one, they're supposed to write the names of the baby animals on the worksheet and draw a small picture to go with each name. So that sounds like something that they could do. So on Seesaw, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a template, and I'm going to click on drawing. And what I'm going to open up is a website called Pixabay. And I think if Jessica, you can put that in the chat for me, that would be awesome. So on this Pixabay website here, I'm going to look for animal babies. I'm going to just type in animal babies and see what comes up. Okay. And what I like to do when I'm creating Seesaw activities is I like to go up to the color and do a transparent background. So that way, when I put it into Seesaw, it's nice and pretty. So, oh, look at these sweet babies. Okay. They're not really real babies, and that's okay. If you want real babies, you can go to like to the images and then do photos. But a lot of times if you choose the transparent background, it won't do it. So let me just do not transparent. And tricky, all this line up here are all paid photos. That's what they're going to be, the most beautiful photos you've ever seen, but they are because you have to pay for them. So I'm going to switch it to photos, and I'll just find baby photos. Okay, so I like this picture of the kitten. Here's a little fawn, a little lamb. Okay, so I'm going to find a picture. Oh my gosh, I could be looking at animal babies all day. Okay, I'm just going to use a little elephant. Okay, so when you find the picture, what you can do is you can click on free download and just download it. You don't even have to have an account, but if you do sign up, it's free. You won't have to go through this I'm not a robot every time. It's going to pull up down here on the bottom, and so when you go back to Seesaw, you can actually just drag in that picture. So again, I was on Pixabay, I downloaded it, it went to the bottom of my screen, I went back to my Seesaw tab, and I just clicked and dragged it right onto the page. So, and my thoughts, which I know some kinder teachers are here, and if you guys think I should do something different, that's fine. What my thought is that they can see a picture of that baby animal, and then they can practice sounding out the word, or they can write a sentence about that baby animal. And so what I want to create is I want to create a line down here for them to write on. There is a background for them, but especially the kinder babies, sometimes these lines are a little too small, but they also have these handwriting background lines as well. You can use these for them to write on too. But for just the time being, I'm just going to use a shape tool. So I'm going to click on the three dots again and click on shape and use this just a line. There we go. And I can drag it out and make it bigger. And you can actually make it as big as you want. I'll make it a black line there. All right. And so I don't want them to be able to move the picture of the elephant or that line. I want them to just be able to write on top of it. So what I'm going to do is, this is just a trick in my book, because you can click on each picture and click the three lines and say lock. But a lot of times I have so many items on the screen and I don't want to go to each item and lock it. So this is just my trick of the trade as I've created activities. But when you click on the T for the text tool, I just put a period in there to kind of hold the box. And then right now it's this outline of a box. So I want to click on the three dots. And I'm just changing the style so that, or excuse the style, yes, so that box disappears and it's just the period. Okay. And then watch, if I change the color of that period to white, it disappears. And then I just make that text box as big as the screen. And then I just drag it down. Okay. Now, right now my period is in like a really random place. So I can actually, when I click on that text box and choose those 3 lines again, I can actually just move the period over to the right so it's off that picture. So now I can actually lock this big gigantic text box in place, and it locks everything underneath it. And then if I want to unlock it, then I can just click the 3 dots, unlock it, and then I can move everything else. So I just put kind of like a blanket, a clear blanket over everything so the kids can't move all my stuff around. All right, so let me see if there are any questions, or if there's a kinder teacher that thinks, oh, maybe we could add something to this activity. I'm going to add some more baby animal pictures on here, but just to see what you guys think so far, or if you have any questions. I see the chat's like blowing up, so I don't.
That's me adding links.
Oh, okay, good, thank you.
So far we have, let's see, maybe give them words and then pictures that they can match, but it looks good so far. Everybody is, or a few people are saying that it looks good like it is, so carry on.
Okay, so and then I would say, like, if you want them to match pictures, I'll add a page in there like that too, so you can see how that would look. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom right and just click add a page and post it in there. Now, because I've already added everything to this page, I've added the line, I've added my big text box, so that I don't have to do that every single time. Instead of just adding this blank page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the page on the right, choose the 3 dots and say duplicate. So that way, now I can just unlock my big gigantic blanket of a text box and move it down so I can click on that elephant picture and delete my elephant. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to choose a different animal. So baby what? Or should we just do like puppy? That would be good, I think. Look at the cute puppies. Oh my gosh. Little ET puppy. What? Okay, seriously. We'll do this one. He looks so pitiful. Okay, so again, I'm clicking on the picture. I'm choosing free download and downloading it. I'm going to try something real quick because a lot of times I'm going to try to copy the image. Oh, it did work. So the control keys in Seesaw work. So all your control C, control V, control, all those things work in Seesaw. There's not a right click in Seesaw, but the control keys work. So if you don't want to download it and drag it in, the other way is for you to right click on the picture, choose copy image, and then when you get to Seesaw, you can't right click. I'm right clicking right now and nothing's happening. You can't right click, but you can do control V, which is paste, and it will paste it in. Look how beautiful that was. And then I can just move it to where I want it. And then I'm going to grab in this random spot because I know I had that text box here. And I'm just going to move it back up and lock everything into place. Okay. Now I want my students to know what to do, and especially kindergarten, they need some direction. And so on this first page with the elephant, I'm actually going to duplicate that page one more time because I want to use my first page as a way to explain to them what I want them to do. So I'm going to use the microphone and I'm going to record. So If you want them to just sound out the word elephant, great. If you want them to write a whole sentence, great. Whatever you want them to do, this is a way you can do that. So I'm going to pretend that I want them to write the elephant is gray, let's say. And so I want to draw and record what it is. So I'm pressing the microphone. All right, boys and girls, now it's time for you to write about the baby animals. So on this picture, I see a baby elephant, and I'm looking at that picture, and the baby elephant has some big ears. He's gray. He has a long tail. So I'm thinking about all the things that I could write about that baby elephant. So I'm going to click on my pencil at the bottom, and I'm going to write a sentence. And I think I'm going to put the baby elephant is gray. So I'm going to click on that pencil, and I'm going to write the. Let's see. Oh, it's a sentence, so I need a capital T. I'm going to write the on here, just like that. Oh, doing such a good job. And then I'm going to pause because you guys don't need to hear me write the whole thing. And plus, like, obviously, my computer is making beautiful letters. But anyway, you would explain that whole thing to them, exactly how you want them to write it. So in that, you might even need 2 black lines for the writing, so that way they have some more space. But you can kind of figure it out as you are demonstrating it. So we're going to pretend I wrote the whole sentence and I explained everything to the kiddos, and I'm clicking done. You can record up to 5 minutes, and that was only, that was less than a minute, so you have plenty of time. So what's neat about this is on this first page now, there is a recording for them to listen to, and then on the second page, it's the same thing. So in my first recording, or my first page, I can explain the whole thing, and then I can say, all right, now it's your turn. And they can go to the second page. And even if they write the same exact sentence as me, they're still practicing writing, adding those capital letters and punctuation. And then I can give them the next picture, which is a different animal, so that they can even become more independent and do it on their own. So that is just something that I would highly recommend. You can record as many pages as you want. So you could record the baby elephant and then give them the baby elephant page for them to do, and then record the dog, and then, have them do it on their own. But anything that you want to record, you could even leave it as a whiteboard and draw and record something on there for them to see. And anything that you add in there, so if you added tens and ones for math or anything, it will show all of that you are putting on your page as you're recording, which is pretty cool. So for this last slide, I'm going to do the matching baby thing. And so I'm thinking someone said match the, and Jessica, you can help me out, match the baby pictures with the words. I'm thinking that's what they put on there.
Yes, that's right. It says maybe give them the words and the pictures and they match them.
Oh, okay. All right, so we'll just do like a kitten here. So again, I'm just going to do the right click this time because sometimes I download way too many things and my computer gets taken up. So kitten. Let's say chick. And again, I'm just using that Control V to paste it in. So I'm just right clicking and choosing copy image. And then I am pasting it in. Oh my goodness, look at that baby koala. Man, I should just search baby animals. That's just so cute. Okay, so we're just going to do 3 animals here just for time's sake. And And me, I become perfectionist when it gets to getting them all the same size and all the things. That's why a lot of times I do the PNG, which is that transparent background. And I'm going to show you actually what that looks like when you put it in here. Because now these are real life pictures, and I would highly recommend doing that with Kinder and not just the cartoon images. But if whatever you're using, you can click on, when you click on transparent, it'll, whatever animal that you click on. So let's say, I'll click on this dude. So because see how it has that checkered background, that is what a PNG is. It's a transparent background. So when I paste him in here, he doesn't have a background. I can easily put him over anything. So if you were, let's say you had a farm and you wanted the kids to move the animals to the right spot, having that transparent background is nice because they can move them on top, and then they won't see all the, I guess, box image instead of that. They won't see the box image. They'll just see the transparent background. Okay, so now I want them to match with the words. So I'm going to use my text box. And remember, I had made the font color white for that little a cover so that they could move the pictures around. So I'm going to just change it to another color now. And I'm going to put chick. And I can click on the 3 dots and change the style again so that kind of helps. All right, so, and the nice thing about this is you can actually put them all down at the bottom. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put all these at the top. And then I'm going to put all these words at the bottom. So in order to duplicate the same, like I want the same font, the same color, you can either do Control D for duplicate, or you can click on the 3 dots and choose duplicate. So either one. But when I click on it, I can just do Control D. I'm going to write lamb. Control D again. And write kitten. Okay. So now I have all my words down here. And what might be nice is I can stack the words up. So I'm going to actually change this here for a second. I'm going to change the style to blue with white because I want to show you all something. Because if I stack it here and they can see the words behind it, oh goodness, then the words kind of combine together and it's hard for them to read. But if I do the solid background, I can actually stack the words. Ooh, hello. Like this, stacking, stacking. And so they can move the words to the right place. So I'm going to add a line under each of these so they can move it. And the other thing I would suggest is that you can click the caption option down here on the bottom left, and you can add a voice caption as well. So if you just want to explain what to do on this page, you can just add that voice caption so that they can hear what you want them to do. So I'm going to do that real quick. All right, boys and girls, for this page, I want you to look at the words at the bottom and move them to the animal that it matches. So look at the picture, look at the words, and see which ones match together. Obviously, you would say that much better. But then you can just leave the words down here so they can see them, or you can stack them up, and then the kids can move them up here. Again, I would do that little text box thing where you can lock them all together. Let's see if it'll. So, or you can just click the 3 dots and do lock on there as well. And I think there's actually a shortcut for locking them, but I can't remember it at the moment. But normally I just do that whole blanket thing and lock them. Okay, so now we have our pages. We have where they have their recording, they have their page, they have kind of an independent page for them to try, and then they have a matching page. So I'm going to click on the check mark. So now I have my template that I want them to do. I have my example, and now I need to add my instructions. So when you're adding the instructions, the best thing to do is add those little icons to help them. And so if you just search for Seesaw icon shortcuts, and I'll put this link right now into the chat, but normally that's what I do to find it. I just search Seesaw icon shortcut and it comes up.
It's already there.
Oh, why, thank you, my dear. Isn't she such a good helper? So then all these shortcuts right here help you with the directions. So what I would suggest is dragging this tab out and drag it all the way over to the right and let go. Oh, I didn't do it right. Drag it to the right, let go. And then you can have a side-by-side view of your instructions and your icon shortcuts. So, and if you hover over, you see how it comes up with that gray line? I can drag them together, and so it makes one smaller and one larger. So that way I can kind of have my shortcut string smaller and this one larger. So I'm going to say number 1. Listen to the stories about baby animals. And then number 2, click add response. And then I'll put the colon, add colon, so they can see. Some people like to do this icon first. Some people like to do it at the end. It's kind of up to you. But that colon, add colon is going to come up with this button right here. And I'm going to say number 3. Listen. I don't know. What could we say? Listen to the example. And then we can use our pencil. So colon, pencil, colon, write about the baby animals. Number 4, we're going to use match. And for the matching, they have to use this move tool. So if you are, and that's a thing I've seen, it used to be where in Seesaw you had to click on the T, the text tool, in order to move stuff around. But now it's this move tool. So if you are sharing an activity, make sure that it does not tell them to click on the T to move stuff around, because that's incorrect and it throws them off. So some of those activities that have been in the Seesaw library for the last more than a year, they're good activities. It's just some of these icons have changed since then. And so you just want to make sure instead of doing the label one, you want the move one. Because I saw one of my daughter's activities had that on there. And so it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so I'm going to do move, match the words to the baby animals, or match the baby animal names to the picture of. Okay, and for kinder, obviously, these are kind of big words, so I want to click add voice instructions and record them. So today, I combine baby animals and kids at the same time. So great thing, you can click on the X and delete it. Okay, so voice instructions. So today you're going to learn all about baby animals. First thing, click on the link to listen to stories about baby animals. Then click on the green button to add your response. Then you're going to listen to the example, and then you're going to write sentences about the two baby animals you see. On the last page, you're going to match the baby animal names to the picture of the baby animals. Okay. And you could say the 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, for time's sake, I'm not being perfectionist. So now I have my activity name, I have my instructions, voice recording, examples. You do have more options down here, which are like teacher notes. So this is good if you're sharing this with your grade level and you want to give them, maybe some extra things that they could use on there. But if there's not an extra thing, then I wouldn't worry about it. The skills, a lot of people are not adding that right now, but those are TEKs that you can add in. So if you type in K.1 or K.2, whatever the TEK is, it'll come up and you can add skills on there. But that's just what the more options are at the bottom. So I'm going to click on Save. So now there are two different ways that you can share these activities with your teammates. So I can either click on the 3 dots and click on Share Activity and click to share it to the school and district libraries, which I would highly recommend doing this because it makes it very simple. And so when you click on the school and district libraries, you just choose the grade. A lot of times I choose the grade it's on, but also the grade before and after, because I think, sometimes it's good for them to use it too, but it doesn't really matter. You can just choose one grade. And then the subject, we're doing English Language Arts. And then it will only come up with your school and the district library. So once you click share, your activity's been submitted. And then any changes that you make, so there's been times before where I realize I've misspelled a word or a link wasn't working or something. So when you click on the 3 dots and do edit, it automatically updates that activity in the district school library. So you don't have to worry about going back and resharing it. So the other thing is when I click on share, I can get activity link right here. Now this activity link is not a link that you would share with students. It's not one you would post to Google Classroom or post for them to do. It's just for your colleagues to see. So if you have a lesson plan template, like let's say I wanted this one, and I'm just going to make a copy of it and say, okay. So this, I want to share all this with my team, but at the top, I'm just going to put, here is the Seesaw activity, and then I can post the link there with all those flowers behind it. All right, and then hyperlink it. Okay, so they can see kind of everything that's on there, but this is the one I want them to go to, but they can have more options down below. So then my teammate, who's Jessica on here today, I'm going to click share, and I'm going to type in her email. So now I'm going to pass the baton, tag your it, to Jessica so that she can show you what it looks like from the other point of view whenever you get a Seesaw activity. So I'm going to stop sharing here.
Ooh, all the sounds. All righty, let's see. Okay.
Okay, there's some questions. It looks like you answered them though, Jessica, right? Do we need to say any of them out loud or?
No, I think it was going back to having the directions recorded on the first page.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you want the students to do the same thing, you need to make sure you duplicate the page. I had some teachers that wanted to post a PDF of them reading a passage, and then they wanted the students to read the passage. Well, if you don't duplicate the page and they press re-record, it erases your recording. So they can't go back and listen to it. They would have to actually start the activity all over again. So I would highly recommend duplicating the page. Jessica, take it away, girl.
All right, I am getting your link that you just shared with me. And it is lesson plan. Yeah. Oh, lesson 3.
So right now we can only see your Seesaw PD and your PJs, girl.
All right, let me get the right screen.
Yeah, did you guys see the 364 unapproved posts? Yeah, we're working on that.
We can't speak about that because it's just, all right, here we are.
Okay, yeah, now we're in your drive, yeah.
Okay. So where did you go, little file? Did something pop up?
It should be in the...
Should be in my shared with me.
I would say the priority too, right? Didn't the last time it just come up right away in there?
Yeah, you're right. It did. Oh, she's thinking.
Oh, there it is.
All right. So I've opened up the deal. I'm going to go ahead and click on this link. It is going to open my activity. I'm going to tell it to save. It's going to go and live in my library first. And so these are all the activities that I've either found and liked and kept for myself or created myself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Animal Babies and assign it to my Seesaw 101 class. Now, the cool thing about this is I can assign it to all of my babies, or I can assign it to a handful of kiddos. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So right here, if I hover over this hyperlink, I'm going to hit Edit Student. And now I have the option to highlight or unhighlight all of my children or mark all of my children. So if I just want Aladdin and Alice and Alicia Keys to have this activity, I'm just going to check their name. So this is good for your differentiation. I am going to put the sample student there. I will show you why that's important in just a second. Oh, for the love.
And can you show them the folders too? Because I think a lot of people aren't utilizing that either.
So this activity, I think the doctor just called for Harper. Oh, okay, and it didn't ring, thankfully. So this activity is a, what would you say, reading language arts activity. So I'm going to assign it a folder, and this is going to help you filter out your kids' work when it's finished. So since it's reading, I'm going to go ahead and check that. If you don't have a folder there that you would like added, so I will just say art for this. Art. Okay. And so I could attach that to art as well. So that's how you add a new folder. So right now, this activity that Heather just sent over, Animal Babies, is attached to reading. So now I have got a couple of students attached. I'll just go ahead and say everybody for right now. And then I also want to show you, before you share it with all of your students, you can actually schedule it out. So down here you have this button, your schedule button. And today's the 1st, so I can have this assigned immediately to show up right now, or I can choose a later date. So maybe I want this to show up on Friday. I'm going to change the time just by typing in the box. You can toggle the up and down arrows, but sometimes they're not as accurate as you would like them to be. So you can go ahead and type it in like a text box and then hit your check sign. So now this assignment is assigned, as you see down here, for April 3rd. And I'm going to go ahead and assign it to my class. So then you'll check here. And now it says that this is scheduled for the 3rd. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I want to try things out before I give it to my kids, just to make sure they work like they're supposed to. So that is where my sample student is going to come into play. I'm going to go ahead and add response. And then I can go ahead and work through the assignment.
Are you boys and girls now?
Okay, there's that first page. You can see the template. I can go through and add. Oh, because your kinders are going to do cursive. And then go ahead and check that. So now that activity is there. I think I did this the last time. Okay. Oh, these are new. Okay. So if you can see down here, this activity is tied to reading. And if you wanted to say, I just want to go through and find all of my reading activities for my class, I would go here and filter it. It's not going to work like your Google Drive. Right now I don't have anything.
I think you have 2 reading folders, friend.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I have one with the icon and one with not the icon. So there's my one activity. So your students, if you just want to see what they've done, that's reading. Or if you just want to see what they've done, that's social studies, you can filter out your folder like that. And that was just me clicking on here. If I wanted to go to the sample student or any kiddo in your class, you can tap that folder and see what they've done for their journals. Now, they have not turned anything in, and that's why these are reading zeros. But when they actually do turn in activities, so here's Anna. She's done some work, tasks. So this is her work. It's private only to the teacher, but also it's in this folder. Okay. All right. What else were we going to share?
We didn't share this last time, but can you click on where under Get Home Learning Codes? Oh, it has that little calendar icon. Oh,
Back. I'm so fast with the clicking.
fast clicker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So on this calendar icon, this is a great way to see what your students are doing each day as well. So if you click on that April 1st, it shows one item. And so you can actually see who's posting each day, just a real quick glance of, you know, it'll show all the students and what they're posting. And so that's just another way you can kind of filter by what the students are doing. And Jessica, can you go back to the Seesaw activity library and just show them, you clicked on the link to share my activity, but how would you go about finding that in the activity library?
Okay, so we're going to go through your kinder classes. We're going to narrow it down because right now we have a bajillion different activities that you can choose from. So we're going to start by choosing your grade. We'll do
School and district, school and district.
School and district. Oh, I'm not in community. Yeah, school and district. Cool. That's my mom. All right, kindergarten. And then we'll go to English, not English language arts. Where are we going? There we go. And then from there, if you don't see, which I see it's right here, if you don't see your activity, you can type in your teacher's name, whoever you got that activity from.
Yeah, it's Mrs. Miller, so it's going to be more tricky. I could just maybe, you can even narrow it down to like what school that you're at. Sometimes that's helpful too.
Okay.
Because the search feature sometimes is a little bit cumbersome.
So you can go ahead and click that. And so I see our animal babies picture there. And I have this little heart. So anytime I want to grab an activity for my library, I'm going to click the heart. And that will automatically save it to my my collection of activities. So if I go and I look in my deal, there it is.
Okay, perfect. All right, so it looks we are at, oh gosh, almost into the meeting. Whoops. We are at the very end of our time. It's already been an hour, but we are going to open it up right now to any questions that you guys have to see just if there was something that we covered or maybe something we talked about, but you thought of a question because of that, and let us know. So either type it in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask out loud. Either way, we're up for it. Crickets. Beth, you said you've never gotten that to work. I'm assuming it's the search feature.
Searching by teacher's name.
Yeah, so that's the only way that I found that to work is if you actually find one activity by them and then you can click on their name and it will show you all the activities they've created. That's the only, I guess, the best way that I've found for it to work. Yeah. Okay, wow. Okay, I guess we answered all your questions. Or we just completely overwhelmed you and blew your mind. I don't know. One of the two.
Not that.
But I mentioned this before at the beginning, but I'll just say it one more time. We are recording this. I'm sending the recordings to our YouTube team so that they can put it up on our YouTube channel. If you guys have not checked out our YouTube channel, I would highly recommend it because all of our recorded webinars are on there. I think Jessica put our link in the chat. Oh, yes. Yeah, so the connecting with our department, she put the little link tree up there, and that has our YouTube channel and all of our social media as well that we're sharing lots of great things. So please make sure whatever activities you create, you're spending time creating them. So please share them out. We're all in this together. So thank you guys again. I know I keep saying thank you, but we're just so appreciative of you taking your time to join in with us. So happy you guys are here. So I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes just to see if there are any more questions. And if not, we will see you guys around.